changing up here. I mean, Legacy of the Void's going to be a new start for a lot of these players, and I'm sure YoDa would love a new start. 1-6 versus Zerg this round or this season. 5-18 overall.
Yeah.
One of the worst sort of stats we have at this point.
Well, he's just simply played every single match, like literally every one. I can't think of a single match YoDa did not play, like ever since week 1. And some of those wins he got early on was like beating Sue with crazy builds and stuff like that. But look at him! Oh my God,
There he is.
he's
Horror.
back, dude. Horror comes from the era of Incredible Miracle in the early stages before Incredible Miracle was the best team. This comes from a long line of players like I am Sleep, I am Happy, I am Horror, like these adjectives that were kind of poorly translated into English. He's one of those old players. Like, that's how old this guy is. This guy is 2010 Wings of Liberty beta player, all right? This guy is old school. He's back from the military. Like, this is like Cal playing a Pro League last season, except Cal was really good in Starcraft 1, and Horror was kind of mediocre. But we'll see. Can he bring this upset? Can he actually take a win? MVP fielded him. It's YoDa versus Horror. Up to the top left for Prime, it's YoDa.
I love those colors.
I look really good.
Down in the bottom right, MVP's new player, Horror.
His debut Pro League match. He's never played Pro League in StarCraft 1. Thank you guys for coming down.
Much love.
And oftentimes you see a debut player show a very specific timing attack. You know, an all-in oftentimes. Sometimes like something really unique and crazy. Like, you know, maybe a crazy rush to burrow or something in the ZBT. I'm just kind of throwing ideas out there.
You're throwing everything out here, Wolf.
Sure, but
no, you know, to kill the nerves for that first time, that does make sense. You know, it's like go out there, have some fun, like not too much pressure. You know, you're going to be insanely nervous. Try and do what you can.
I'm trying to think of other like debut players. Bomber's debut, he did a timing attack. Cal's debut match, he did like a Phoenix all-in and PvP. Liquid Hero's debut, when he was playing for EGTL, did like a timing attack.
I'd like an all-in Roach Bane against someone like YoDa, because YoDa is known to be greedy, likes to go mech, likes to skimp out in the early game, go for early CCs.
Yep, he's definitely doing that in this game.
Yeah.
Even a pool first to kind of harass would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
If he's studied, if he's done his homework on this.
But it really depends on like what kind of player Horror is as well, because we haven't seen him in so long. Like, he could be like a macro god right now. He could be the next Seal. He just has this creep thread that no one's ever seen before. It's like sickening good.
Yeah.
I mean, or he could be that cheesy player. He could be a scumbag, man. We just said no.
I haven't even. I watched Korean online tournaments like the Lima League. You know, some of those show match series that we see every now and then. Some of these, you know, team leagues that get run. You know, sometimes like Total Biscuits run some of those. You know, those kind of like not to say lower level, but like less important online matches. I watched, you know, a decent amount of those. I kind of just chill out and watch them on Eat My Dinner or something like that. I don't know if he's played in any of those, but I know none of them come to mind right now for sure. Like, definitely not a player who everyone's going, you know, this is not a match where you see Horror in the lineup and everyone's going, oh, I've seen him play online. Like, he's so good. It's just, no one's saying that. Like, people say that about Bjorn, and they're like, well, Bjorn's doing well in online tournaments. Why isn't he playing for Prime? And people tweet at me all the time, and I'm like, listen, guys, I really don't know. But
something weird is going on there, that's for sure. Like,
I think he just doesn't. I think he lives far away, and he just simply doesn't want to come to Pro League. It doesn't mean enough to him, and Prime's probably not offering him a salary or anything like that. So he's like,
he
nah.
streams now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He streams and he plays online cups and like wins some money here and there.
That's interesting.
I know he lives with his parents. That's all I know. I just don't know where he lives, but I would imagine it's probably not in Seoul.
Has he still got a dog? I remember he had a dog.
He did have that puppy. I don't know what happened to it.
Oh. You think something happened to it?
I know that it was sick at one point.
Oh, man.
And I know that one team's pet actually ended up dying, but I don't think it was Bjorn's dog.
Oh, my God. That's horrible.
Anyways, I don't want to make this like really dark.
Damn, now I'm sad now. But, I mean, we could look at, you know, what Horror's doing. This time around, he actually went for a gasless opening, which in itself is pretty unusual in this day and age. Very old school sort of meta style. Doesn't mean it's, you know, like a bad idea at all, especially against someone like YoDa, who is not going to be like a Reaper attacking, Reaper harassment, or anything like that. He actually took his time, went for that CC first, so it's like a perfect response build.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of extra money and extra queens, and he can take a third base really fast and get his creep spread up really fast. YoDa mechanically at this current time is not actually like one of the best mechanical Terrans. Sometimes you see YoDa really struggle to like clear up creep, and YoDa often plays mech in this matchup because I think he's just not that good at mechanics like bio-wise. Bio takes a lot more mechanics. You've got to split, you've got to scan, clear up creep. Whereas mech, you kind of just sit back, turtle, and eventually move out across the map and don't make big mistakes.
Yeah.
So I think YoDa is more suited for mech, and I think we might end up seeing him do it here again.
I'm certainly getting that vibe as well. A lot of his ZVTs have ended up being mech, so it makes sense that Horror would, do his research and be like, okay, you know what, I can go gasless because I have nothing to worry about in the early game. I just want to creep spread. I want to get my third at a very quick time, 6 minutes. That's like the fastest third you'd ever want to get. And beyond that, just have a great macro game and be completely prepared for that mech style coming on up. And look at that, a Roach Warren already as well.
You know,
love it.
I'm really liking this, man. And let's talk about this just idea briefly. I just want to mention this. Like, when you're a player who's coming from the military and you've kind of been out of the scene for a while, sometimes you can bring really fresh ideas because you're not really with the meta, and you're like, well, this is what I'm thinking, and I did this on the ladder and it was working. Everyone's like, nobody does that, and you're like, well, this is how I'm playing, and it's working. It like goes against the grain because I'm kind of an outsider. And that can bring a lot of fresh kind of thoughts and ideas to the build.
Especially if it's going to be this style. It's like, you know what? I was playing 3 years ago, and guess what? It still gets the job done. It's so unexpected these days. If I can actually get away with doing this build, it puts me so far ahead in terms of like the tech and economy at this stage of the game. And he got away with it flawlessly. He never took a bit of damage from it. Scan goes down to see what's going on from here.
Looks like safety roaches. He's just going to hold off the Hellbats with them.
Yep. Straight up. He's like, I'm going to go. I know he's going to go for a Hellbat timing and then transition into mech. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go Roach.
He shows a tech lab on a barracks. This could be a fake. Yep. Total fake.
Yep.
Called it.
Complete fake there as that armory finishes up. I wonder what we're going to see YoDa actually commit to now that the army's finished. Now that he's seen roaches as well.
Third CC coming up.
Still going to go for that drop.
Interesting. Well, I mean, Horror is not skimping on the defense, so he has lost several overlords, which is kind of annoying for him. But he's going Roach speed. He's not buying the fake, man. He's not falling for it for a second. He's really playing this quite well, actually, I have to say.
Yeah, but where does he go from here? What's his next choice? Are we going to see a Spire go down? Are we going to see a very fast Infestation Pit go for that quick Viper timing attack? It's going to be one or the other.
Ooh, sees the lair, sees the roaches, of course, but doesn't see if it's Spire Tech or not. That's always what he wants to see. His Viking is like doing so much work.
Yeah, that Viking's actually done way too much. Uh-oh, this time around. Helen's going to have a few shots on the drones. Oh! Don't want to mix them together like that. And he lost 2 there.
It could have been worse. With 4 Hellions, I think he would have lost a lot more.
Yeah.
Well, what was interesting was YoDa was continuing Marine production off that reactor for a little while. I think he stopped at like 6 or so, though. And it's just now totally cut it out. I was wondering what he was going to be doing with those, but perhaps just keeping up the ruse a bit longer and also having a few Marines to buffer at the front. A huge Roach attack incoming. He's doing this, pretty quick, but there are several siege tanks out already. There's going to be at least 4 by the time he hits if he decides to just kind of try to crack that natural.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad idea.
There's no hope of this happening, like, through the natural at very least. If he had, like, a Nidus, if he had Overlord drop, magic could be there. The magic would be there.
Or if he moves out here.
Yeah, that's certainly one blunder he can make. I think what his design is at this point is to deny that third base for as long as possible. But let's see what he can do now that the armies are kind of exposed here. He takes one shell.
Takes a second one. His Hellbats are kind of buffering, actually. He ended up losing them, but I think that was kind of okay. Just going to come around here to the wide ramp and try to force a lift. Just avoid that wall entirely. And he could even try to break down the ramp away from the wall. Oh, I can't believe YoDa actually is trying to send these tanks over here. I think he could have actually just gotten totally destroyed there.
Yeah, he's paying attention. I guess dealing with the Hellbats at the front is the annoying part for the Roaches, so he doesn't want to fully commit to this. If he can keep it denied for as long as possible, it'd be good. But he is going into Hive now, and 2-2, so he has a transition though it is a little bit later than I would have expected.
Double scans here. Scans the infestation, put down the hive.
This should start Viking production, I'd have to say. In this kind of situation, he's like, okay, the next step, and there we go, Vikings on the way. He wants to have these out to deny the Vipers from getting a decent position and blinding clouds on the tanks.
I think he also wanted to see, like, are you switching to mass muta behind this? Like, can I find a Spire?
Yeah.
And he sees now I can just keep making Vikings and tanks.
That's always another thing. Yeah. You always want to have at least some anti-air. You probably want like 1 or 2 Thors, just so if there's a muta switch, you have something. But if you have nothing but Vikings, you're in a lot of trouble.
Looks like it's a 6 Marine drop, which they don't have stim. And this is like, what, 13 minutes into the game, so
yeah,
not going to be very effective, but it did kind of distract him. Oh, could get a lot of damage here if he's paying attention. 2 already, and here comes the Marine drop. He's really probably not expecting this. Yeah, this could actually get a few more Hellions. 7, or rather drones. 9.
Yeah, not too bad. It is the 4th base drone, so it's not like the economy gets crippled. It just means he's got to like make a bunch more, and he already does. And look at that Ultralisk cabin on the way.
YoDa adding a ton of factories right now. And 2 more orbitals, whereas we see 5th base added here for Horror. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a lot of different things that Horror can do from here. The synergy with the Vipers and the Ultralisk is quite good. Also does decently well with the Roaches.
I do like the composition. It's just about getting it out before that 4th base is even attempted from YoDa, because the last thing you want a mech Terran to do is to get on 4 bases.
BCs are really the big challenge in Korea right now. Like, when a mech player gets the BCs up, most Zergs are basically just not able to deal with that. I don't think I've seen a Zerg player deal with BCs yet.
Yeah, late game mech with BCs is like unbeatable at this point. Like, Zerg has no real answer to it. Innovation has been abusing it a lot.
So I think that's the next phase for YoDa once he gets the 4th base gases, and he's got a secure location. He's got a planetary up there. He's got tanks to wall it. He's got those extra mules. These Hellions should get denied. A few mistakes on both players, like constantly on move command with some of these units. Drones could have gotten killed there, but it's like he's focusing on these roaches. Constant scans here from YoDa, always just trying to find an opportunity.
Yeah, more and more tanks being made, so it's not like he's transitioning anywhere away from the ideal composition to fight what we do see in the making from Horror. As he is, he's going to commit to Ultras soon. He's going to commit to Blinding Cloud, I'd have to say, if he ever wants to fight this army properly. He's going to do it soon, too. I mean, he's got a bank already, and he's at a 150 supply. It's either going to be like a muta switch or an Ultras, and it's going to be Ultras after all.
Yeah, the upgrades lead well into it. These Queens way ahead of themselves. Well, they did get a lot of creep spread done. Yeah.
3 Vipers, 4 Ultras. Looks like he really was just waiting to see the composition from YoDa before he decided to make an attack, an army to deal with it.
I mean, there's I don't even think a single Thor on the map, right? So I think Mutalisk Switch is quite strong in this particular scenario.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, he has to, build that mineral bank back up and also trade these roaches away before he can do that, though. Well, YoDa gets a 4th base up now. And he's got a decent mineral bank, but the gas is something he's definitely going to want to build before he can start adding those extra starports and the fusion core.
7th and 8th gas really enables everything in the tech tree. These Vikings are doing way too much damage to these overlords.
He's abusing the fact that Horror has never gone for Mutalisk. It's never been, it's never been a factor in this game. And that's one of the scariest things as a meching player is what is the Zerg doing? Is he switching to Mutas? Am I making too many tanks? Or is he switching to Roaches? Am I making too many Thors? Or Ultralisk actually, even in the later stages of the game. Like, do I have too many Thors? Because Thors are not very good against Ultralisk.
Well, it's always that sort of fear, at least when you're sitting around like 120, 150 supply. But when it gets to this point when you're maxed out, it's like, well, I have an answer for everything. Well, normally you would, but we actually saw YoDa go full anti-ground and commit nothing but tanks and Hellbats. 21 tanks, 13 Hellbats.
I actually really like this Viking attack.
It shouldn't be happening, is the bottom line there. It's like, this should not be okay. This should not be happening in the Zerg's base where 9 Vikings are killing every single Overlord.
These Overlords haven't been put in a secure location. They're not grouped. They're kind of just all over the place. The Fusion Core is nearly finished, by the way, so we are going to see that transition. 4 tech labs on the production tab, so I'm guessing many of those are going to be for starports.
Yeah.
Can you check how many starports he actually has? I think it'd be 5. Okay,
right.
So he's going to be able to make quite a few BCs. Going Raven Viking first.
Okay, Raven. He's going to be one of those mech players. And it's kind of like the European flavor of mech where they max out on Ravens. And they do a lot of work with it. I do like the BCs more, though.
It's definitely easier to make Ravens. Sometimes you're worried about Corruptors, but I mean, it's just so old school. We don't really see that anymore.
All right, well, there's a BC, so maybe just one Raven to help out. Nope, never mind. Make that Banshees instead.
Yeah, he's really indecisive about this. He's getting the Corvid Reactor, so you might as well commit to a few Ravens with that getting an energy upgrade.
Huh.
Well, we're going to see these Hellions just continue to kind of maraud around the map. Now they have Blue Flame. And the Ultras are just kind of getting out-controlled here. 6 drones go down. He could escape with 5 of those. Spires are going to work. You know, he's got that late game available. You know, the Corruptors coming out, Mutalist switches. He's just actually, I can't even believe he got into this natural here.
Yeah,
15 kills.
Yeah, that should never have happened. And I don't know. I'm kind of nervous for Horror right now. He had a great game plan going into the early game and the mid game. Now it's gone to the late game. He's kind of stagnating on what he thinks he should do. He hasn't made any move whatsoever towards any base. And he's allowing the Terran player to get to that scary mech stage where it's like you almost don't have an answer unless you have an incredible bank. And he's got a bank for one more army currently.
Yeah, with 11 Ultralists, he's already he's already directly countered by the siege tanks, the walls, the turrets. And what YoDa has identified early on, especially with those Vikings, for example, is that Horror just has a weak anti-air. And so Banshees alone are going to do great. You can even try to snipe hatcheries with them if they have good upgrades. Can, follow up with BCs here. I'm worried for Horror as well. He's starting to build that bigger bank, yeah, but 15 Ultras, that's a big commitment, and he hasn't been able to do anything with them yet.
And I'm sure YoDa is in no hurry to move out in the map with his army. He's like, you know what, I'm just going to make a little fleet of Banshees, go into the main base, maybe snipe the Hive. He has so many options, considering how immobile the anti-air is currently for Horror.
No spores in this main base. Very vulnerable. He saw that earlier with his Vikings. Look at all that larva. Just going to kind of leave these here. He's not really targeting anything in particular. Might eventually target that Hive. Sending back Vipers. What's he going to do? Abduct them to death? He needs to send more than that.
Yeah, he's going to do like triple abducts to get them to the 4th base or something crazy.
What's interesting is before we even see the weapon refit, he's actually going for Behemoth Reactor, so he's going to get a massive amount of energy on these BCs because even though there's a ton of Ultras on the map, Horror hasn't been able to do anything with them. So he's like, I have all the time in the world. I'm going to get 3/3 BCs, Behemoth Reactor first. So all my BCs, like the first 6 BCs he's going to have, are all going to have a Yamato cannon by the time Yamato is ready.
Yeah, it's just way too much. He's going to have a lot of answers for the army we currently see for Horror. This tanks alone are going to do so much. Look at this, going to go for another base here.
He's going to get it. Even throwing away SCVs here.
It's like you have the Queens coming back in time. Yeah. So you can't heal that up. You can't deal with them.
Behemoth Reactor's done as he's starting to need more BCs. 4 more on the way and Weapon Refit. Weapon Refit going to line up with those 4 BCs. Remember, all 7 BCs now will have a Yamato cannon when that finishes and 3/3 upgrades. It is the Supreme late game. How can you deal with that?
Oh, look at this. Tanks are pretty clumped together here. Some Blinding Clouds could get the job done, but Debris hasn't been taken down just yet.
He hesitates as well. Attacking this planetary could be a good choice, as all these tanks are sieged up in the wrong location, and there's like, an orbital in the way. This could work.
Yeah, you got a lot of Blinding Clouds to work with currently. I think he's got about 2 Blinding Clouds, but that should be enough to zone out the tanks for some time. Help you take down that base. That's a 5-base mech Terran going BCs, and they're nearly 3/3. They nearly have everything they need, every upgrade.
I mean, we're seeing a greater Spire on the way. That's absolutely not what he wants right now.
Yeah, if he can deal with the air once, like, if he can wipe out the Viking count, I don't know. Yeah, there's really nothing you can do with Broodlords in this kind of situation. It looks like he's going to commit to this 4th, finally.
There's just so many turrets here and that extra planetary. With Transfuses, he is going to try to break through here, but look at all these BCs. This is the better attack. It looks like the other attack was more of a distraction. The planetary, though, looks like it will survive. He's going to go for SCVs instead, which YoDa doesn't really care too much about. He should save it.
Yeah, tanks just do way too much.
All right, how's he going to remax here? Do you think a Mutalist switch is good? He could make like...
No. I think
70
Corruptors. I think maybe you'll want to go Corruptors. Maybe you'll go Corrupted Broodlord or something. There's Corruptors. 34 of them. 40 of them.
40. Okay, it's Sue versus YoDa all over again.
Yeah. YoDa had been in this situation before, so he's like, okay, mass Corruptors again. It's a scary army, even for Corruptors.
The air upgrades are going to be 2-1 for Horrors. I almost said Sue.
Might as well be Sue, right?
And YoDa is going to have, I mean, he already has 3-3 for these BCs. Even with an Abduct, they're going to absorb so much damage. But I feel like YoDa will have to sort of switch into more Vikings, possibly even more Ravens than just the one.
I would like some Thors with this too, you know, if they're going to be all clumped up fighting. Thors, they do have a place. That or Ravens. Seeker Missile's always going to be great in zoning them out. And here we go. That is a lot of Corruptors. You might want to wait for the Contaminate to be ready, though, on at least some of them. When they're newly hatched, they don't have Contaminate available. It's like they're almost ready now.
All right. Well, this attack, you know, is threatening a little bit. It's going to force this Terran army away. That canceled Planetary got killed so fast.
All right, here we go.
Here we go. He's just going to go on top of it. Oh, the corruption here. And he's got a ton of queens to support this. You know what? This could work.
I do like it a lot. Well, one Seeker Missile is going to hit a lot of them, and they do take a lot of damage.
This is actually a pretty close fight. He's actually going to have to end up kiting back. He needs to use those Vikings while he's kiting, not just move command them, but he's kiting behind these turrets. We can actually be doing so much more damage. The tanks annihilate all the Ultras, though, and they're actually moving across the map, doing damage.
Oh, man, I like that a lot. It's a great idea. Tanks going to take down these hatcheries so quickly as well.
He's got very little bank left, Horror, at this point. Making 16 more Corruptors and 4 Broodlords.
The Broodlords are a good choice, but he needs something to clean these tanks up. He needs to start making Lings if he's got a...
Jay's got 39 larvae, he just doesn't have minerals.
Doesn't have the bank available.
He has 14 drones left. 10 drones make it. He's got basically one mining base, which is about to get killed by these tanks, it looks like.
It's going to be a problem. Broodlords are nearby there, so you can deflect this one. But this is giving YoDa so much time to make an army again that's going to deal with what he sees.
Yeah, he's already maxed out. He's got double the army supply. And this time he has enough Vikings to support the BCs. He's got getting more Ravens. He's got 3 Thors. That one Seeker Missile really turned the tide of battle, I feel.
Did a lot of damage.
And he also was able to hide behind those turrets. The scan, he's just trying to find these Corruptors to make sure he doesn't get caught off guard. I think he's also concerned, like, are there a bunch of Lings on the map? You know, what is he really making right now? Because he's not seeing much, and the reality is there just simply isn't much on the map. GG. He just types out.
Wow. All right, Prime win the game.
All right, YoDa did it. And you know,
Anticlimactic ending there.
I really question sending out Horror and Seed in this match. I know Prime is the weakest team, but MVP, this is one of your best chances to get playoffs again. Don't blow it.
Well, I guess it makes it just a little bit more interesting, Wolf. We are going to see Prime pick up that one, evening things up. And now it's another risky match. Seed versus Keen. The risky biscuit continues to crumble.
And you know, keep in mind, this does break Prime's losing streak, so they got to be feeling pretty good about that one. If I'm YoDa, I'm thinking, well, it was an easy game, but that guy just came straight fresh out of the military, so got to take more than that to, I guess, get his confidence back up, but it's a start.
It is a start.
Now, as you mentioned, we are going into Keen versus Seed, a Terran versus Pearl. See how these two players play this matchup that's been ever so changing in recent times. There's a shot at Keen. Come in there, congratulating YoDa. We are going to take a commercial break. It's going to be a 3-minute commercial break before we go to that third match. So stay tuned, tell your friends. Be right back.